If you'd like to see my oversized shirt by Dressy Talk Patterns, it's the one with the hidden front button placket and the crossover back. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, I'm Deb and this is DB Designs and Sewing Australia. Welcome to all my subscribers and welcome to anyone who is new. Now I haven't done a huge amount of sewing this week because I've got my 97-year-old dad staying with us for a week, so I've been looking after him and trying to entertain him for the period of time he's here. I made the Dressy Talk pattern. Now that's an appalling photo. It's not even supposed to be pink and white striped. The photos are actually blue and white striped, but that's a printer issue. Anyway, this is Dressy Talk Patterns, and I'd never heard of them before, and I had found this pattern when I decided I was doing the year of the shirt. Not that I've got very many shirts made so far, but it was one I'd found, and then a few people had sent me messages saying check out this one. So this is the pattern here. So it's got a hidden front button placket. It's got long sleeves, cuffs, and it's got this crossover back. So here is the shirt, and I will be popping photos in. So I've found this collar to be very, very shallow. It does have a collar stand, which I did on the diagonal. So I played around a fair bit with the stripes in the fabric. This is a cotton fabric from Spotlight. It was really just to test and see how I like this pattern. And so what I did was I actually hand sewed a lot of it. Things like the insides of the cuffs, the inside of the collar, I hand sewed all of that. Because it's got the hidden button placket, I thought, why would I be doing top stitching everywhere? So hidden button placket, luckily, because it's got all mismatched buttons, because that's what I had. Doesn't matter when you can't see them. And I still haven't put any buttons on the sleeves. So this is the sleeve, and I ran the sleeve binding in the opposite direction. And on the pockets, I made a bit of a feature of the top of the pocket. Now I just cut, well, what would typically be a piece of bias binding out and attach it to the top of the pocket. So just to play around and use the stripes in some sort of directional fashion. That's the only top stitching it's got, is the hem, and I did a bias tape hem, which I do in a lot of my shirts. I really like the way a bias hem looks compared with just turning it up twice or even overlocking it and turning it up once. I just think it finishes it off much more nicely. To me, it gives a much more couture look. So really happy with the outcome, but I do think that this collar is too shallow, or it's something about the way it sits here on the shoulders. You'll see in the photos, so I'll insert a photo of where it is on my shoulders, how different it looks than this shirt here. And I made the size US 10 or UK 14. And it was oversized, and it's got plenty of room in it. And in the all-in easy fit shirt, I make a 14, and this has plenty of room in it too. But then I will often wear a Spencer under my all-in easy fit shirt. So I even wear a rayon shirt in the wintertime because I will put a Spencer under it, or a thermal. So rather than wasting fabric, I did lawn as the inside yoke. And I didn't do a burrito method. I actually hand sewed the top here. No need to do that. You can do a burrito method in it. Now, Dressy Talk Patterns doesn't have instructions as such. It doesn't say, here's the shirt pattern that you bought. And I will put a link in it because I think when I bought it, it was $12 or $17, and now it's on sale for $7. So I love the crossover at the back, but it has no instructions. But what Dressy Talk do is they actually have videos. From memory, there's no talking in their videos. I think it's just music. And so you're really just watching a video. But to be honest, the button placket, I've made hidden button plackets before, and for me, the most important thing is finding what the center front point is, ruling a line down that, and then having your distance, which will be your next line on your pattern, which it is on this pattern. It tells you which is the center front, and so your next line out towards the outer edge is the line that you folded on. And that's for the button placket side. And then the rest of it, you're sort of concertinaing it in. And the idea is that there's the hidden part, there's the other part. Now, as you can see, the part that the buttons actually go through, so the actual button placket, is just a couple of millimeters shorter than the outside, which makes it hidden. I must say it was easy to do in the striped fabric. I made sure when I cut this out that all of my lines lined up perfectly. And because this is 100% cotton, its straight grain was not compromised at all. Because sometimes when things are printed, and you can tell this is printed on the fabric, the pattern is a little bit compromised compared to the straight grain. But in this case, this was perfectly on the straight grain. So it made it much easier for me to be able to have lines down my fabric. So you find the center front, which is probably like this line here, and then whatever your next line over is. So when you're looking at the pattern, where it is here, there's the center front line. So from that, I know that this is the line that needs to be my fold line for the outer edge of this placket. So once you understand that, it's really quite easy. So you're thinking, this is the center front, this is the line I'm folding on for my right hand side of my shirt. And then you can see it's got all the buttonholes and all that, but I just did them wherever I wanted to anyway. And so then you're really just concertinaing this in. And what I did do is I hadn't put any interfacing in it. And I had sewn this channel here. And so I just had some of my interfacing tape, and it was like 2 millimeters narrower than the channel I'd made. So I just hooked it in there and dragged it up, making sure it stayed flat all the way through, and pressed it, and that worked. I didn't need to pull anything apart. So that was just a bit of a stroke of luck. I'm not sure if I should do a buttonhole at the top. I'm just not really happy with the way it sits here. Now, this is a camp collar, so it's always going to sit open like this. But this sits better, and in the ones, and I've made lots of them with a collar stand as well, sits up really well. I did interface the inner and the outer of the collar stand and the collar, so not really sure how I would change that. I think if I made it again, I would extend that collar to make it longer. It's to make it bigger. I guess to make it more dramatic. But loving the back crossover. So that's the back crossover there. And when we're looking on the inside, that's just, so it's just really like a giant pleat. Getting that in the right place was probably the hardest part of the shirt, and they didn't have a video that showed you how to do that. And this is what the pattern piece looks like. So it looks like you're supposed to make that dart. Well, so I started off by making this dart here, and then thinking, and then you just like cross the fabric over. Well, that didn't really work. Took those darts out. So the key to it was actually using your back yoke. And so my back yoke, it comes to place it on the fold, but I cut the piece out twice and stuck them together so that I would have a whole back yoke piece, because then I was just testing where to cross this over. I'm really happy with the fabric, and I was really happy with all the different things I could do to the fabric. I haven't decided what buttons to put on the sleeve, and if I'm going to put 2 smaller style buttons or 2 larger style buttons, whether to use a white button or a blue button. Sorry, where was I? One of my customers came to pick up their jeans. So this is actually a really nice shirt. I love the back, especially when it's on. Let's pop it on Tessie and have a look. So that's how the back pleat looks. I keep on trying to straighten it, but that's not the idea of the shirt. As you can see, your bottom sort of holds it out a little bit more and brings your pleat out to the sides there. So a bit more like that. A bit more like that, really. But like the way it looks at the top. And as I said, trying to work out the pleat, actually based it on the yoke. Once I found the center back, it's cut on the fold. So I found the center back, and then using the center back and manipulating it to cross over where I wanted it to cross over, and then to fit the yoke. That was the key. I couldn't find any instructions about the crossover back on Dressy Talk Patterns. But very happy with the result. Collar is a little bit shallow, or just a little bit different than the shirts that I'm used to wearing. So I'll just have to get used to how to style it. I just don't think the collar is deep enough. It actually looks quite nice like that. You wore the collar completely up, which I do sometimes do. And that is all I've made. I've done alterations this week. I tried on Mia's tracksuit pants and tracksuit top. She's kept a pair of undies. She only takes size 2 undies. So I've got those other things to make, although she wants a tracksuit with a stripe down the side and to be flared. And the other thing I was going to make, and for Sew Autumn Denim, I was going to make the Helen's Closet Falconer Pants. I'll try and pop in a photo of it in colour. But basically you can choose a wide leg or a barrel leg. And these are the ones that have got the seams in the front and the back. So this is a picture of the back, and the seams are there. So your pockets slot into your seams, which is a really nice, neat way to do the pockets. Looks like it's got a lot of top stitching, so I need to decide what colour top stitching thread and get some when I take Dad back. But that's what I'm going to make with this denim. Whoa. And it's very heavy denim. Heavy denim, dark navy. Oh, it's from Homecraft Textiles. So I think I bought this last year. But as we're doing Sew Autumn Denim, and the jeans I wear the most, weirdly, besides my... Actually, I wear lots of my jeans all of the time. But these Lander pants are one of my favourites. So it's a similar style to that. But the pockets, the seams are in the front and the back, and your pockets fit into those seams. I don't think I've seen many people make that up yet. Okay, I'm back because another client just came to drop off an alteration. I'm going to be printing out the Falconer pants, thinking about what shirt I'll make next. I have got an all-in easy fit shirt to do in this, well, really denim coloured lawn. I think that could pass as Sew Autumn Denim. So don't forget about Sew Autumn Denim. You can make anything in denim coloured wool, and pop it onto Instagram sometime in May. It doesn't have to be at the end of May. And the hashtags are hashtag Sew Autumn Denim 25 and hashtag the Sewists of Oz. Anyway, all the details will be in the description on this video. So that's all from me. I've got alterations to do. I have not even started that bestie bag, which I must do. And the bestie bag's in the red denim, which would actually go quite nicely with this outfit. Did I say this is the all-in easy fit shirt and the jeans are the Lander pants? I will leave it there for my Friday sews. I think I'm going to need to wear a coat to Bendigo. We're taking Dad to Bendigo. Anyway, everybody have a wonderful week. I will talk to you all soon. Hopefully I've at least made the next shirt, which is an all-in easy fit shirt, so it's pretty straightforward. And I haven't done any more on the lowest dress, altering the pattern. I'll wait till Dad's gone before that because I need to take all the stuff off the cutting table to do a bit of pattern drafting. So I will get onto that and I'll make Mia's tracksuit with a stripe down the side. Everybody have a great week. I will talk to you all soon. Let me know if you've made that Dressy Talk pattern and how you went with it with no instructions. Please like and subscribe, and thank you to all those people who bought me a coffee on my Ko-fi account. It is very much appreciated. I'd better go so that we can go to Bendigo. Have a great week. Bye.